Wembley Stadium is a football stadium in Wembley, London, England, which opened in 2007 on the site of the original Wembley Stadium, which was demolished from 2002-2003. The stadium hosts major football matches including the FA Cup final and home matches of the England national football team. The stadium will be the home of Tottenham Hotspur while White Hart Lane is being demolished and the new stadium at Northumberland Park is being constructed. Wembley Stadium is a UEFA Category 4 stadium. With 90,000 seats, it is the second largest stadium in Europe and the largest stadium in the United Kingdom. It is owned by the Football Association through its subsidiary Wembley National Stadium Limited. Designed by Sport and Foster and Partners, it includes a partially retractable roof and the 134-metre-high Wembley Arch. The stadium was built by Australian firm Multiplex at a cost of £798 million. In addition to the FA Cup semi-finals and final, the stadium hosts the season-opening FA Community Shield, the League Cup final, the Football League Trophy and the Football League playoffs. The stadium also hosts the FA Trophy, the FA Vase and the National League playoffs. It hosted the 2011 and 2013 UEFA Champions League finals, the gold medal matches at the 2012 Olympic Games football tournament, and will host both the semi-finals and final of UEFA Euro 2020. The stadium also hosts the Rugby League Challenge Cup final, the NFL International Series and music concerts. Stadium. Wembley was designed by architects Foster Plus Partners and Sport and with engineers Mott Stadium Consortium, who were a collection of three structural engineering consultants in the form of Mott MacDonald Limited, Sinclair Knight Namp, Mertz and Oricon. The design of the building services was carried out by Mott MacDonald. The construction of the stadium was managed by Australian company Brookfield Multiplex and funded by Sport England, WNSL, the Football Association, the Department for Culture, Media and Sport and the London Development Agency. It is one of the most expensive stadia ever built at a cost of £798 million and has the largest roof-covered seating capacity in the world. Nathaniel Litchfield and Partners was appointed to assist Wembley National Stadium Limited in preparing the scheme for a new stadium and to obtain planning and listed building permission for the development. The all-seater stadium is based around a bold design with a capacity of 90,000, protected from the elements by a sliding roof that does not completely enclose it. It can also be adapted as an athletic stadium by erecting a temporary platform over the lowest tier of seating. The stadium's signature feature is a circular section lattice arch of 7 meters internal diameter with a 315 meters span, erected some 22 degrees off true, and rising to 133 meters. It supports all the weight of the north roof and 60% of the weight of the retractable roof on the southern side. The archway is the world's longest unsupported roof structure. A platform system has been designed to convert the stadium for athletics use, but its use would decrease the stadium's capacity to approximately 60,000. No athletics events have taken place at the stadium, and none are scheduled. The conversion for athletics use was a condition of part of the lottery funding the stadium received, but to convert it would take weeks of work and cost millions of pounds. Construction. The initial plan for the reconstruction of Wembley was for demolition to begin before Christmas 2000, and for the new stadium to be completed sometime during 2003, but this work was delayed by a succession of financial and legal financial difficulties. In 2004, the London Mayor, Ken Livingstone, and Brent Council also announced wider plans for the regeneration of Wembley, taking in the arena and the surrounding areas as well as the stadium, to be implemented over 2 or 3 decades. Demolition officially began on the 30th of September 2002, with the Twin Towers being dismantled in December 2002. Delays to the construction project started as far back as 2003. In December 2003, the constructors of the arch, subcontractors Cleveland Bridge and AMP Engineering Company of Darlington, warned Multiplex about rising costs and a delay on the steel job of almost a year due to Multiplex design changes which Multiplex rejected. Cleveland Bridge withdrew from the project and replaced by Dutch firm Hollandia, with all the attendant problems of starting over. 2004 also saw errors, most notably a fatal accident involving carpenter Patrick O'Sullivan, for which construction firm PC Harrington contractors were fined £150,000 in relation to breaches of health and safety laws. In October 2005, Sports Minister Richard Cabourn announced, "They say the Cup final will be there, barring 6 feet of snow or something like that." By November 2005, WNSL were still hopeful of a handover date of the 31st of March, in time for the Cup final on the 13th of May. However, in December 2005, the builders admitted that there was a material risk that the stadium might not be ready in time for the final. In February 2006, these worries were confirmed, with the FA moving the game to Cardiff's Millennium Stadium. On the 20th of March 2006, a steel rafter in the roof of the new development fell by 1.5 feet, forcing 3,000 workers to evacuate the stadium and raising further doubts over the completion date, which was already behind schedule. On the 23rd of March 2006, sewers beneath the stadium buckled due to ground movement. GMB union leader Steve Kelly said that the problem had been caused by the pipes not being properly laid, and that the repair would take months. Rumors circulated that the reason for the blockage was due to Multiplex failing to pay the contractors who laid the pipes, who then filled in the pipes with concrete. A spokesman for developers Multiplex said that they did not believe this would have any impact on the completion of the stadium, which was then scheduled to be completed on the 31st of March 2006. On the 30th of March 2006, the developers announced that Wembley Stadium would not be ready until 2007. All competitions and concerts planned were to be moved to suitable locations. On the 19th of June 2006, it was announced that the turf had been laid. On the 19th of October 2006, it was announced that the venue was now set to open in early 2007 after the dispute between the Football Association and Multiplex had finally been settled. WNSL was expected to pay around £36 million to Multiplex, on top of the amount of the original fixed-price contract. The total cost of the project was estimated to be £1 billion. For the new stadium, the level of the pitch was lowered. During excavation of the new playing field, mechanical diggers unearthed a buried obstruction. The concrete foundations of Watkins Tower, a failed attempt to construct a rival to the Eiffel Tower in London. Only the base of the tower was ever built before being abandoned and demolished in 1907. The site was later used as the location for the first Wembley Stadium. Handover and opening the new stadium was completed and handed over to the FA on the 9th of March 2007. The official Wembley Stadium website had announced, that the stadium would be open for public viewing for local residents of Brent on the 3rd of March 2007. However, this was delayed by 2 weeks and instead happened on the 17th of March. While the stadium had hosted football matches since the handover in March, the stadium was officially opened on Saturday the 19th of May, with the staging of the 2007 FA Cup final. 8 days before that, on Friday the 11th of May, the statue of Bobby Moore had been unveiled by Sir Bobby Charlton outside the stadium entrance. As the finishing touch to the completion of the stadium, the twice life-size bronze statue, sculpted by Philip Jackson, depicts England's 1966 World Cup winning captain Bobby Moore, looking down Olympic Way. Structure. The stadium contains 2,618 toilets, more than any other venue in the world. The stadium has a circumference of 1 kilometer. The ball volume is listed at 1,139,100 cubic meters, somewhat smaller than the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff, but with a greater seating capacity. At its peak, there were more than 3,500 construction workers on site. 4,000 separate piles formed the foundations of the new stadium, the deepest of which is 35 meters. There are 56 kilometers of heavy-duty power cables in the stadium, 90,000 cubic meters of concrete and 23,000 tons of steel were used in the construction of the new stadium. The total length of the escalators is 400 meters. The arch has a cross-sectional diameter greater than that of a cross-channel Eurostar train. Pitch. The pitch size, as lined for association football, is 115 yards long by 75 yards wide, slightly narrower than the old Wembley, as required by the UEFA stadium categories for a Category 4 stadium, the top category. Since the completion of the new Wembley, the pitch has come into disrepute since it was described as being no good and not in the condition that Wembley used to be known for by Slaven Bilic before the game between England and the team he managed, Croatia. It was confirmed when the pitch was terribly cut up during the game, which was blamed by some as the reason England did not qualify for UEFA Euro 2008. The Football Association admitted in April 2009 after the FA Cup semi-finals that improvements are needed to the Wembley pitch after criticism of the surface by Sir Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger and David Moyes. The grass has been relaid 10 times since the stadium reopened in 2007 and was relaid again in the summer of 2009, ahead of the 2009 Community Shield. In March 2010, the surface was relaid for the 10th time since 2007, when the stadium was built. In April 2010, the pitch was again criticized following the FA Cup semi-finals, during which the players found it difficult to keep their footing and the surface cut up despite the dry conditions. The then Tottenham Hotspur boss, Harry Redknapp, labelled it a disgrace after his side's semi-final defeat to Portsmouth. After the 2010 FA Cup final, Chelsea captain John Terry said, "The pitch ruined the final. It's probably the worst pitch we've played on all year. It was not good enough for a Wembley pitch." Quote, "It was relayed with Deso semi-artificial pitch, ahead of the 2010 Community Shield game between Chelsea and Manchester United." Michael Owen, who previously criticised the pitch for causing him injury, said that it was much improved. Covering the stadium roof has an area of 40,000 square meters, of which 13,722 square meters is movable. The primary reason for the sliding roof was to avoid shading the pitch, as grass demands direct sunlight to grow effectively. The sliding roof design minimizes the shadow by having the roof pulled back on the east, west and south. Angus Campbell, chief architect, also said that an aim was for the pitch to be in sunlight during the match between the beginning of May and the end of June, between 3 p.m. and 5 p.m., which is when the FA and World Cups would be played. However, it was mentioned during live commentary of the FA Cup final in 2007 that the pitch was in partial shade at the start at 3 p.m. and also during the match. The stadium roof rises to 52 meters above the pitch and is supported by an arch rising 133 meters above the level of the external concourse. With a span of 315 meters, the arch is the longest single-span roof structure in the world. Litigation. The Australian firm Multiplex, which was the main contractor on Wembley Stadium, made significant losses on the project. In an attempt to recoup some of those losses, the firm has initiated a number of legal cases against its subcontractors and consultants. The largest of these, the largest construction claim in UK legal history, was a claim for £253 million against the structural engineering consultant Mott MacDonald. In preliminary hearings, the two architecture practices which worked for Multiplex on the project were ordered to allow Multiplex access to their records in order for them to build a case. The practices, Foster Plus Partners and Populus, estimated the costs of providing access and answering Multiplex's queries at £5 million. The case was not due to be heard until January 2011. Mott MacDonald has issued a counterclaim for unpaid fees of £250,000. The dispute between Multiplex and Mott MacDonald was settled out of court in June 2010, the judge having warned that costs were likely to be more than £74 million. Multiplex also took the original steel contractor, Cleveland Bridge, to court to claim up to £38 million compensation for costs resulting from Cleveland Bridge walking away from the job. Cleveland Bridge, in turn, claimed up to £15 million from Multiplex. The case was finally resolved in September 2008, with Cleveland Bridge ordered to pay £6.1 million in damages and 20% of Multiplex's costs after the court found Cleveland Bridge was in the wrong to walk off-site. The judge criticized both sides for allowing the case to reach court, pointing out that total costs were £22 million, including £1 million for photocopying. Multiplex's ultimate bill is estimated to be over £10 million. Multiplex is also contesting a claim from its concrete contractor, PC Harrington, that Multiplex owes £13.4 million to PC Harrington tenants. The English national football team is a major user of Wembley Stadium, given the ownership by the Football Association as of 10 March 2007. The League Cup final moved back to Wembley from Cardiff following the FA Cup final and FA Community Shield. Other showpiece football matches that were previously staged at Wembley, such as the Football League Promotion Playoffs and the Football League Trophy Final, have returned to the stadium, as has the Football Conference Playoff Final. Additionally, the Rugby League Challenge Cup Final returned to Wembley Stadium in 2007, and the stadium also hosted both semi-finals of the 2013 Rugby League World Cup. The new Wembley was a significant part of the plan for the 2012 Summer Olympics in London. The stadium was the site of several games in both the men's and women's football tournaments, with the finals being held there. Additionally, Wembley was one of the 13 2015 Rugby World Cup venues. The Race of Champions staged the 2007 and 2008 events at the stadium. Wembley has had a long association with American football. A United States Football League game was staged there in 1984, and between 1986 and 1993 the old Wembley Stadium hosted 8 National Football League exhibition games featuring 13 different NFL teams. Since the new Wembley Stadium opened in 2007, Wembley has hosted games during the NFL regular season. As a result of this, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell stated in October 2009 that he expects the NFL will start playing multiple regular season games in Britain in the next few years, an expansion that could lead to putting a franchise in London. On the 20th of January 2012, the league announced that the St. Louis Rams would become a temporary tenant of Wembley Stadium, playing an annual game at the stadium every year from 2012 to 2014. Part of the reason the Rams were chosen was the fact that the team is owned by Stan Kroenke, who also is majority shareholder in a local Premier League team, Arsenal. However, the Rams later cancelled the 2013-2014 games, leading to the Jacksonville Jaguars becoming new temporary tenants and hosting games in London from 2013 to 2016. This was later extended to 2020. Music. Besides football, Wembley can be configured to hold many other events, particularly major concerts but also private events like weddings and conferences. This is an economic necessity given that the stadium ended up costing the FA much more than was originally projected. The regular covering of the pitch for concerts has led to the pitch being relaid often. Regular changes to the pitch mean that it never matches the quality of its surroundings, or of the pitch of the old Wembley in its later years. The first concert at the new stadium was given by George Michael on the 9th of June 2007. Bon Jovi were scheduled to be the first artists to perform at the new Wembley, but the late completion of the stadium saw the concerts relocated to the National Bowl and the KC Stadium. Muse became the first band to sell out the new stadium on 16 and 17 June 2007, and released a live DVD of the performance. Other acts to have performed at the stadium are Metallica, The Killers, Green Day, Foo Fighters, Madonna, Coldplay, Oasis, Take That and AC/DC. Wembley Stadium hosted Take That Present, The Circus Live for 4 nights in summer 2009. The tour became the fastest-selling tour in UK in history before that record was broken by Take That 2 years later with the Progress Live Tour. 2 large charity concerts have been held at the new Wembley Stadium. The Concert for Diana, a memorial concert to commemorate 10 years after the death of Princess Diana, and Live Earth, a concert hosted at Wembley as part of the Live Earth Foundation, committed to combating climate change. 95.8 Capital FM's Summertime Ball, which was previously hosted with 55,000 spectators at the Arsenal Emirates Stadium and slightly less in Hyde Park, was hosted at Wembley Stadium on the 6th of June 2010, and was headlined by Rihanna and Usher. The move to Wembley allowed many more fans to watch the annual music event, which has previously lasted over 5 hours with more than 15 performers. It is thought to be the biggest commercial music event held at the stadium. It has since returned to the stadium in 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014 and again in 2015. On the 6th of June, American punk rock band Green Day continued the world tour, playing at Wembley on the 19th of June 2010. The gig was Green Day's biggest audience yet, with over 90,000. Las Vegas band The Killers played the largest ever sold-out audience of 80,000 on the 22nd of June 2013. They performed a song specially written for the Wembley Stadium, the Wembley Song. Brandon Flowers, lead singer for The Killers, said, "We've written a song for this joyous occasion," and proceeded to sing about some of Wembley's great moments, its history from the Twin Towers to present-day arch. Muse returned to Wembley Stadium on 10 and the 11th of September 2010 as part of the Resistance Tour to a sell-out crowd, having previously played there in June 2007. Madonna played Wembley in 2008 during her Sticky and Sweet tour, to a sold-out audience of 74,000. The event has surpassed all gross revenue for a single concert at Wembley, grossing nearly $12 million. Take-That played a record-breaking 8 nights at Wembley Stadium in summer 2011 on the Progress Live tour, which has become the fastest and biggest-selling tour in UK history. 623,737 people attended the 8 shows at the stadium. The Olympics meant that no concerts took place at Wembley in summer 2012, with other big shows taking place elsewhere. In summer 2013, there were 7 big shows. The first act to perform at the venue was Bruce Springsteen, who played his first show at the new stadium on the 15th of June. 1 week later, American rock band The Killers performed the biggest headline show at the venue on the 22nd of June. Robbie Williams then performed 4 solo concerts at the stadium on 29 and the 30th of June, and on 2 and the 5th of July after previously performing with Take-That at the stadium in 2011. The summer's final show saw former Pink Floyd bass guitarist Roger Waters play at the venue on the 14th of September as part of the Wall Live tour. Concerts on 16-17 June 2007. Muse became the first artist to sell out the new Wembley Stadium with a crowd of 180,000 fans in 2 nights. On the 11th of September 2008, Madonna performed to a sell-out crowd of over 74,000 fans on a gross of over $12 million and surpassed all previous grosses at both the old and the new Wembley Stadium. U2 performed to a record 82,000 fans each night on 14 and the 15th of August 2009. The U2 360 Degrees tour stage was designed to cater to fans positioned behind the stage. Eminem became the first rapper to headline at Wembley Stadium, performing on 11 and the 12th of July 2014. Ed Sheeran became the first solo artist to headline at Wembley Stadium without a band, selling out the stadium for 3 nights. He performed on 11, 12 and the 13th of July 2015, playing to over 240,000 people.